Hey traders, this is Jeff from ZenTrader.ca. It's really late, but I really want to get something out there though, so uh, when you guys wake up, you'll have something to watch. I kind of want to get my thoughts out there. Last week we saw some coiling, some consolidation or tightening of ranges, which led me to believe that we were going to see some sort of a big move in the markets. And at that time I wasn't sure if it was up or down. I was positioned on the short side, and mainly because my timing signal has been negative since the early part of this month. So we got to see some of that nice selling into the end of the week, and I don't think that we're done by a long shot. I think that let me show you a chart here of the NASDAQ with the main general indexes down here, the Dow, NASDAQ, and SPX, and you can see here that we're basically just hanging out just below the lower Keltner channel. We're not anywhere near oversold. We're going to have to be down below here before I even start to think about an oversold market. Another chart that I watch is the SPX, and I have the McClellan oscillator charted here. And generally, when we get down below this line, it could be the potential for a nice bounce in the markets. You can see here back in November of 2010. Let's just go back a little bit more. So I mean, September, it didn't even make it down, but it got close. A bounce here, a bounce. Here in mid-March of this year, it closed below it. There was a nice bounce. Now, just because we go below it, that doesn't mean that we're automatically going to bounce. We're also nearing the 50 moving average on the SPX. So I think right now the best case scenario is that we get a couple days relief rally, and that will allow us to either add to our shorts or to initiate some new short positions. Right now, I'm in the short term. The markets that I'm looking to short next week are gold, silver, and FXI, which is the Chinese ETF. I'm pretty bearish on those for the short term. Now, sometimes I have two time frames that I really hone in on: the short term and the more midterm. And sometimes it doesn't necessarily convey the best. I mean, I know in my head how to differentiate the two, but sometimes I may be talking about the midterm. I just hope I don't confuse you guys. I apologize for that. But for the really short term next week, gold, silver, FXI, I'm going to be looking at the short. Let's see here. I have another chart. Well, let's go back to the 60-minute. I noticed something. So we're approaching the this October pullback here. I drew this blue dotted line. What I like to do is I like to look for points that seem to be significant. So here it was a top. There's a gap just underneath here. There was a gap right by this line. So there's here there was a gap to be filled. There was pullback, it bounced right off of that. So, we've got another 20-25 points in the NASDAQ. We could gap down Monday. And then that could be a good time if you're short now to take some off. The other thing is if we continue to sell off the way we have been, we could have a really huge down day sometime next week. I'm not predicting it. I'm just saying that it's getting to be in that kind of a days on the table, but I don't think it's quite there yet. Another market that I don't particularly like, but this is kind of the same thing as the chart that I just showed you. This is the TSX, and we're kind of at a significant point. I don't have a whole lot of time left in this video to go over, but you can kind of pause and you can highlight them, these significant points in blue. And also the last thing I want to talk about is volatility is really starting to pick up, and there's a lot of put buying, so that could mean that these markets could potentially bounce for a couple days.